I was getting an ultrasound when my sister Cindy called saying she needed to name her baby Daniela, the exact name I'd promised my dying father I'd use for my daughter, the name he whispered as his last words after I spent 4 months sleeping on hospital chairs while everyone else disappeared. And when I told Cindy that was my name, she said grandma with dementia would get confused by 2 Dianellas, so I had to pick something else. By the time I got home from the appointment, my mom was at my door saying I needed to change the name because Cindy had 3 miscarriages and deserved this one thing, then threatened to cut off the mortgage she co-signed and the car insurance and phone bills she paid if I didn't comply. So 22 hours into labor, while I was screaming between contractions, my mom and pregnant Cindy showed up demanding I be reasonable, and I was so exhausted I finally said, fine, just leave. 3 hours after giving birth, mom returned smiling to say she'd called Brad, Cindy's baby's father, to come support her through this emotional time. But when Brad walked in, he looked confused, asking Cindy since when she was pregnant, and that's when he said he'd had a vasectomy 3 years ago and showed us last month's 0 sperm count test results on his phone. Mom went silent and Cindy exploded saying grandma was leaving everything to me, so she had to do something, admitting the ultrasounds were Google images and the morning sickness was ipecac syrup. But when I lunged forward to rip the fake padding off her belly, I felt a real bump just like mine, and Brad asked whose baby it actually was. Noah, my husband, went completely white and wouldn't meet anyone's eyes while sweat rolled down his face. And though I kicked everyone out and had the lab run a paternity test that excluded Noah with 99.9% certainty, I found rideshare receipts showing he'd driven to 2 blocks from Cindy's apartment 6 weeks ago on a night he claimed was a work dinner. Plus his credit card showed 3 gas station charges near her place on days he said he worked late. The conservatorship hearing for grandma's finances ended with a judge appointing a neutral professional after seeing bank statements of mom moving money. And outside the courthouse, mom screamed that dad would be ashamed of me for destroying our family, but 2 days later, Cindy texted from labor asking me to come because she was scared and mom was too intense, so I drove there and held her hand through 8 hours until her son was born, 4 pounds 3 ounces, and she named him Sheehan instead of Daniel, while mom tried to argue, but Cindy signed the papers anyway. The insurance money dad left me that mom never mentioned arrived as a $15,000 check. I opened my own bank account mom couldn't touch, got my own car insurance and phone plan, and started weekly therapy with Noah, who admitted feeling pushed aside when I spent months at dad's hospital bedside. And though the hurt is still there between us, we're following a 90-day plan of living separately while rebuilding trust brick by brick. Cindy eventually confessed her baby's father was Mark from her office, who had a wife and 2 kids, and when word spread at her workplace, she called crying about the whispers and rumors, but I told her that keeping secrets was what got our family into this mess in the first place, because Brad tried to warn her what happens when lies catch up with you. Mom sent a text apologizing for some things and listing boundaries she'd follow if I wanted contact, so I wrote back with my own rules, including only monthly coffee in public places. And one night during Daniela's 3 a.m. feeding, I looked around my quiet house and realized the bills were paid with my own money. The baby was healthy, Noah and I were slowly fixing things, and mom wasn't controlling everything anymore. So when Daniela finished eating and fell back asleep against my chest with her tiny breath steady and peaceful, I understood that those empty chairs at my housewarming taught me everything I needed to know about who actually deserved a place at my table.